to the channel, Eat to Take Anime. Thank you for tuning in again. Sorry about the issues with the last video. If you saw my Instagram post, you would see that copyright came in, so it was removed, unfortunately. All that work for nothing. I apologize to you all because I always try to get the scans out. I waited till 1-2 o'clock in the morning when I saw it was open and woke up early to try to get it done, and it happens. So now we're here to still talk about the chapter, JJK 2022. I mean 222, I'm sorry. And we are back at it. I'm just going to talk about a particular thing I saw within the chapters that I thought it was interesting. And the thing that I'm talking about and I'm picking to discuss is the Hikari, Yuta, and Maki team up. All right, let me start by saying this is possibly the best team we have seen assembled in JJK, and not just saying at a power level, but also just in appearance itself, how it's maybe written, and just how it may be animated as well. And I know that many people are like, well, we're having season 2, we're going to see the Gojo and Geto team up, which is going to be amazing, right? I think there's going to be a lot to it, but the combination of styles being drawn with, it's more so Hikari and Maki as hand-to-hand combat specialists, it's going to be crazy. And we'll probably get more of that when we see Hikari be animated and fight. You'll get an understanding of why I'm so hyped whenever we get to that point. But needless to say, that is way later down the line. But trust me, y'all, we will be eating. All right. So another thing I want to jump into is, I think by this point we should all understand the hierarchy as I get to talking about, I guess, the fight and the team up. They all have particular skill sets, which is different, but given how everything is kind of played out, what's been said, I'm going to put Hikari slightly above Yuta. And the reason why I say that is because Yuta himself said Hikari, when worked up, he is stronger than. Maki didn't believe it, but I don't take Yuta as a person to lie about that, especially since Hikari's not around to make it some feedback or, you know, stroke his ego, whatever the case may be. That was just kind of a conversation that was had, and Yuji talked about it, and Yuta just had to keep it real so you know who he's dealing with. So that's good. I think that bodes well, but that's how it goes. And without being said, Yuta's going to be clearly a close second, pushing for the first spot. Actually, it's probably 1A, 1B, with Maki being third, which is not a problem, honestly. But that came from Future Go himself. But we can kind of get a little bit more in Hikari, how you all probably have seen, read, and if you're here at this point talking about the chapter, you probably read and understand Hikari insane jackpot abilities with him having unlimited amount of curse energy. And I know there's been some confusion. I'm pretty sure people have an understanding now, but I'm just going to touch on that a little bit, that this doesn't mean he can spell it all at once. I don't want people to think that this is more so, oh, he's stronger than that person. JJK doesn't exactly work like that per se. It's about how you use abilities, which his ability is being used very differently, very creative. But I like to think of it as a river flowing steady stream. Some parts can kind of be rough, but never overflowing, spilling over. It's just steady and it's coming. And we've seen shades of this makes him a little bit more mortal for a length of the time he usually plays the music. While you, on the other hand, is bound to run out of cursed energy at some point. But granted, it would be difficult given his bloodline and Rika working as an energy battery essentially for Yuta. So, and Yuta's no slouch either. So, I mean, you can kind of pick who you want to deal with, but needless to say that Hikari keeps on hitting this jackpot. He's just can keep on going. And another thing about Hikari is he can use jackpot outside of his domain, which is very interesting to me, because when he fought Hajime, he already had his energy around him, and I think it's already said, it's been a while since I read the chapter, but jackpot, you know, he used it before showing up, so he already has some of that strength he landed. But that's just kind of a little bit about Hikari. I wasn't going to touch too deep on that. And now we move to Yuta. On paper, the sorcerer behind Gojo, aka Gojo, Yuta's made major strides in roughly a year or two. His copy technique, his combat ability, and the vast amount of curse energy, he lives up to the hype. I don't think there is no less hype that you can give him. I won't go in deep detail because there's a lot that you can watch about Yuta. When I mean watch, as in the JJK movie, or read Chapter 0 for a little bit more clarity. But there's information out there with him. He's a household name at this point. And last but not least, Maki, after battling with her sister, which we're going to get in the second season, I'm sure of it. And she became an anomaly, much like Toji, Megami's dad. And don't forget that Toji was the closest person to killing Gojo. With no curse energy, she can make herself invisible to sources and curses. And if you read the Culling games a little bit further into this, or not further previously, Team Maki versus Curse Technique Nayua, that was a pretty big fight, but for her that is, and that was allowing her to show us the skill where she was at outside of killing her family. And she also did a lot of training with the sumo guy and the mentoring and having her feeling free. And she was able to train into that similar domain to work like a higher parabolic time chamber, like of Dragon Ball Z. So she's got a significant boost. And on top of that, later down the arc, we see that Yuji and Maki go after Sukuna, and Maki's looking at Yuji like, can you keep up? And Yuji's like, yeah. So you're seeing the dividends pay off with all the training. She kind of went through a lot. Keep in mind that she lost her sister, she killed everybody. It's been a lot to go on that we don't really talk about how Maki has to process that, but she keeps on going. Last but not least, we're talking about Kenjaku. And given, if you know a lot about the series that we read at this point, and kind of the small things I spoke about, it's like, how can Kenjaku stand a chance? And that's an interesting one, something I had to ponder. And I know Kenjaku in this most recent chapter, official translation's not out yet, but it goes along the lines of, he's basically mentioned that if he fought Gojo would kill him, which is a big factor in this. One thing that hasn't been explained really too much is how exactly or to the extent can he use Tengen. And he already is controlling him. And he can be, it's weird because I don't know if it's like a sorcerer. He could be a sorcerer or he's a cursed spirit. It's kind of weird. I flip-flop which one and how he's going to use it. I don't think he can fuse, but that's another option as well, because only certain vessels can fuse with him. Needless to say, he's going to be big in a boost to Kenjaku in this fight. And I think that edge is going to make it basically Tengen and Kenjaku versus Maki, Hikari, and Yuta. And the reason why, another thing this was foreshadowed, was Kenjaku spoke in the Shibuya arc about Yuta, and he was basically downplaying him. But so he must have something up his sleeve, or he must know the Yuta to a certain extent to be like, he'll be okay. Yeah, he'll be able to kill him. But in this recent chapter, you also have Yuta. While Gojo was kind of getting hyped and getting ready for the fight, everyone was trying to think of things to help him, get him cheered up and help him get through it, because he's taking it very seriously. Also hearing the Nanami news and kind of shocked in his own way that Nami didn't make it. He's pretty much taking this serious, as he should. Not the I don't care, well I do care, but I'm the greatest mentality. So that kind of showed a different side of Gojo, which we're not used to. But the one thing that Yuta said was essentially along the lines of, if you need a swap or need to tag me in, let me know. And that's go talk. So with that being said, I am interested in this fight. That is one of the bigger things I can't wait to see, especially all the techniques that Yuta has, and the combination of Hikari and Yuta versus Kenjaku, or more so possibly Hikari and Maki pressing them physically and letting Yuta do the kill shot. Essentially the same thing he did when he fought Geto back in Zero and the chapter in the movie. So nonetheless, this is something I'm looking forward to. I want to hear your thoughts. Wrong, right, agree, changes, but really, what do you think is going to happen? And I'd love to take a deep dive. Until the next video, thanks for listening.